Patrick Lewis is out of town on family business. Rob Schiller.
Here.
Richard Adams.
But Richard does not want to participate in the recording because I'm agreeing to make a recording. But was that a joke or do you really not?
Eric.
You don't really have a choice if it's
Richard
a public
is
meeting.
here.
That's how I feel.
All right, everybody's here.
Let's have a few less
The chair's not
PRAs.
here, so there's no update.
Yeah, I hate the PRAs.
We have no public.
I love them.
So
I would like to make a
fucking
public
fest.
statement.
Okay.
My public statement is what can we do to make sure the popcorn machine gets within our system, because I would like to use it for National Night Out, which is creeping up on us on August 1st. So that means it would need to go to a vote in the July meeting, correct?
Well,
Or
Okay. First off, I cannot sell that machine to the SCNC. It's called
even at cost.
Yeah, even at cost. I can't give it to you.
is that true, Rob?
It's from straight from the city attorney.
It's the city attorney's.
So how
It's
can we-
ethics.
Next subject. We can go to Target and buy
Anybody
one.
else can buy it from her, and then what they do with it is their business, to include donating it to the SCNC or selling it to the SCNC.
Well, we right, but when I asked that, if I buy it, you said I couldn't even buy
No,
it.
you're
a board member.
My proposal is let's not deal with that particular one. If
Yeah.
you want to get one
This
for
is my
the...
public comment.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Fine. I know, I'm just trying to give you the advice of the quick way forward.
But it's sitting here. It's
It's
ready
been
to go.
here, yeah, it's been here for a while. There's popcorn with it. Your wife can buy it and do what she wills.
If her name's on the check.
Or why
There you
not
go.
just donate it if you want? I mean, Denise
Right,
could donate.
I would buy it.
No, she could donate it, and then the problem goes
She
away.
buys it out of your
Well,
allowance.
The wife can.
No.
You know, and once you know, she can sell it for $1. She can sell it for $50.
Okay.
She can give it to him.
So if I give you a check with my wife's name on it,
There you go. Then you're on.
okay, don't give it away.
Okay.
Thank you.
Presentation, discussion of, and motion for approval of 2017-2018.
Well, hang on. Do I have a public comment, or am I not in the public?
You're not public. You're a
the
member.
board.
Committee member.
You're on the committee.
Oh.
You get comment.
Oh, you're not on the board?
I'm not on the committee.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay, Mr. Treasurer, you're up.
All right, did everybody get the email I sent so they can look over the actual
one I
budget
have.
and the proposed budget from this year? If you don't, you can look at the copy I have so that you can peruse it. Okay, so these are the actual expenses for the events that we had, and very close to each of the categories of the operations. And this is the approved budget we approved in last year, so you can look, obviously, at the gross amounts. Operations was $6,000 this year, we allotted $9,000. But outreach, we allotted $17,000 and we spent $19,800. So it just gives us a kind of a guide to decide if we, and they really are stressing that they said they're not gonna make it as easy for us to move funds around without some sort of explanation. I don't know, they're just saying, they want us to be as accurate as possible with our money, not just say, just put it somewhere and move it around. And we were pretty close, so I don't think we did that. I think we were pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
That's my comment.
Yeah, we did pretty good. I think we really did. And if, if they want to know what we did with our money, or what we want to do with it, all we got to do is say, we want to do more MPGs, or whatever it is.
I think we should spend some money on capital expenditures.
Other entities don't spend anything on MPGs at all.
I know, we never did, so I think we did awesome. Yes.
I think we did great. I think you mentioned capital expenditures. I don't know about that, but I do think that the mission of the neighborhood council, there was an article about this in City Watch, is to kind of expand the engagement of the whole community. So you've done a great job with the public safety of whipping up.
The carnival.
The carnival was a great, the Luminaria obviously is exactly the right, and all these things where we're out there working
We
hard.
got fair, we got
I think people really get excited and they're like, oh, cool, maybe I'll pay more a little attention. So I think thinking about the budget going forward, if we have ideas for, like Peter and the whole audio-visual Schwellenberg, building that to something that's workable and useful is great. And so I don't know how we're doing that. We've been acquiring the agenda. Generators. We've got the audio equipment. What do we need? Is there something missing? People don't seem as excited as Mr. Previn is about recording all the meetings, but I'm excited about that. I feel like that should be automatic. Then people can look at it.
Maybe
they
we need
care.
a turnkey device.
They are,
Like something you just
they
press
are-
it on.
yeah,
they have it.
They're looking into
They're-
just mounting something up here
Yeah.
and you know.
Push the button and go.
There you
But
go.
it's
Right.
software. It's you need people
Yeah.
to push the button. That means that, in other
Well, see,
words,
and that's been our
yeah, but
problem.
We can hire somebody.
Well, but it's
Or
no,
Or if it
I'm
can be
missing-
turned on remotely, then it doesn't matter who's at the meeting or whether or not they want to be
you have
recorded.
to-
You just, somebody logs in and goes, you're live.
But you should take out the whim of the individual who is making the recordings of deciding whether or not they're going to post it. Because I'll be frank, as much as I love the individuals, I find that offensive. It's like, oh, Craig, we're going to post his meeting because we like him, or he liked something, like, somebody likes somebody. Whereas, ooh, bad meeting, no post. We have to get past that and get to post them all without trouble.
Oh, yeah, well,
Schwallenberg.
I wasn't
Time out.
where we were having those sort of
We've
issues.
had a couple of issues where the camera was turned off.
We've had issues also where the chairs of various departments that don't need to be named because it's not
This
relevant.
is not a budget.
Yeah.
really
No, it is.
discussion.
It is. The question is, is it a money thing to make it so that the chairs agree to do it without
Actually,
having
it's
to
not a
twist
money
arms?
thing, it's just a demand. We put it in the operating procedures that thou shalt have this done.
But I think it's
Right.
fair to make it easy for them.
Yeah, I even
You know,
for myself.
Right. If it's a
I-
nuisance, it's hard.
I don't know what.
Hire a tech person. We can put
We
in
don't
the
need to
budget.
hire-
Someone whose
Well,
job
there
is
you,
to
maybe that is
Okay,
it.
come and
But
turn
why
on.
hire-
After everybody else left last board meeting, I was there with Peter and Keith, and they was the whole time they were doing cables and everything
Yeah.
else. They were brainstorming what to do, how to make it easier, etc.
Good.
So if we budget capital expenditure for electronics to include a permanently installed camera here, preferably with remote access, that's the good things to do. I think we could use a few more pop-ups, a couple more generators, because
What are the you mean for
pop-ups are $50 a piece.
what is a
But
pop-up? A pop-up what?
The little pop-up
Canopies.
canopies.
It's a little canopy. that
Oh,
everybody was
tents,
standing
right.
Pop-ups.
Okay, fine,
Yeah.
fine.
You
Yeah,
know.
I mean, we had plenty at this thing, but did we rent? That was a combination
we-
of borrow rent.
Yeah.
Some of them are
Personal
old.
ones, city
Yeah,
ones.
adding a
neighbor-
couple is reasonable.
Yeah. So, but I mean, budget a couple of dollars for pop-ups. I talked with Peter, our neighbor, the guy we bought the generators from. He's got two of the slightly smaller versions of what we have and one more connector cable. He's going to do some research because his contact at Westinghouse is no longer there. But for $1,000, we could get two of the smaller ones, smaller brothers of what the neighborhood council now owns. It would be more than around from the popcorn machine or the sound system or whatever. And the big ones could probably run the bouncies.
Well, I think if we're doing this much outreach, it is absolutely. I think we should have absolutely everything we need to run these events.
Yes.
We're not borrowing from you, borrowing from me, borrowing from you,
Yeah,
running around like
exactly.
idiots trying
Yeah.
to pick this stuff up. So I think because this is the direction we seem to like to go in, we absolutely should
Yeah.
have more capital.
But we should think of it
expenditures.
like a kit, so that it's easy to deal with and not
Yeah.
too much storage. And where we have to
Yeah,
rent, we should just
maybe
rent.
some-
Well, I
Because
think
it's
we
dumb
should-
to buy stuff and store it
And I
for no
think we
reason.
should have. I'm going to propose we rent a storage unit because to go underneath CBS and,
Well, our
and to get access
Our
to go.
place is only.
And I'm always worried about banging my head.
I'm just saying, we look at this.
Yeah,
I mean,
but that
look at-
adds up every year.
I'm just
125
making
bucks.
I'm making
Well,
a
yeah.
Storage is
suggestion.
not,
It's not a
cheap.
bad
Storage
idea.
in this neighborhood is not
The
cheap.
storage we have in the bottom of the stage is not accessible. If somebody has an event and wants to go get the popcorn machine, they should be able to go to the unit, put in the combination of the lock, get the unit, go, and return it.
This is
The only-
Rather than who can go to CBS on
Yeah.
Saturday and get to the basement of stage 35 and get.
Actually, I was going to talk
didn't even know
about
that
you
was
and
a
me
thing.
going down there these Sundays when nobody's there, and we could actually drive the truck all the way
Well,
back.
what we need to do is get a work party together to throw. We got stuff to put the sand in now, and then just get everything out of here and put it properly in
Actually, what
storage
we
so
need to
people
do
can
before
find
we
it.
go there is we need to go down there and sort through all the stuff that's in storage.
And that I've seen it down there. It's scary.
Some of it is round file. A lot of the old documents should be scanned and put into the cloud. There's a one-time expense.
So hire someone to do that.
Yes,
Yes.
there's
Oh, yeah,
there's companies that'll do it.
Claire.
Iron Mountain.
Claire.
Well, wait, what kind of material?
They're
are we
just
talking
old
about?
board and old committee.
You've got
uh,
stuff
Yeah.
dating back to the like 2008, 2000.
But some of it's historically vital because it has to do with land use and stuff.
Yeah.
It's good to keep the history.
It's historical.
Well, oh yeah,
Anyway,
I could see that, but it gets expensive.
200
And don't they say that Atlanta? I think that the planning department has a pretty darn good.
I'm t-
maybe we should send it to them and say thank you.
That could be fine.
On land use stuff that we don't care about.
Yeah, what I mean
on
is I'm
your
talking about
files
what-
on the
what-
neighborhood council, we could save that.
But it's the land use discussions and votes and who was in favor
Yeah.
of what and what was agreed upon with
Right.
so and so.
I don't know.
And
Okay.
downtown is not going to save that.
All right. I have a
So
comment.
But people will ask
if-
for them PRAs,
if-
unfortunately.
If because we need access to it. So if we get it scanned, there it is, and everybody has
Iron
access.
I have a great idea for outreach that I'll just throw out very quickly because outreach engagement. Rob said something about it. I wrote a little joke about it to Patrick at one point, and the idea is, and I don't want to go too in the direction of annoying theater people, but this is Studio City, and we have these, some kind of a little festival where the 4 neighborhood councils get together. And they have a play, and
I pitched that.
that's what I'm saying.
What neighborhood council?
I pitched a movie
Who
version
else?
with Peter. Well, we can link with the ones in Sherman Oaks. With the, do we have any enemies? I don't know
was
of
going
any
to present
enemies.
that up, but you
Yeah,
took my.
I'm sorry.
took
Well,
my letter out from my
no, because I was thinking about it I was talking about it earlier with somebody about doing a play, just a one play. But no, I didn't have the idea of neighboring the councils and the
Well, I meant
festival,
involving
the
Sherman
parks.
Oaks,
Yeah,
Van
that was your
Nuys,
idea,
or
so I love that,
Hollywood.
and I love that
To look alike.
because I think it
Hollywood.
brings people together and it expands everybody's
I
profile.
already
And
talked to them at the budget. You were,
Terrific.
You weren't there. Last year and what we actually spent.
Okay.
All we all have to do is decide how we want to do it again.
We can go with the creativity.
well, I have a question.
What
which
does capital expenditures come out of? Which
Operations, which we didn't spend the 3,000
That
on
was the first.
the computer, which we were going to do. We're going to allow we're going to put another 3,000 in for a real website this year.
okay.
computer or website? It's fine.
Last year
I'm
we
trying-
agreed.
Okay,
yes.
because you said 3,000 for a computer, and then you started talking website.
Website.
It's going to cost you probably closer to 4 or 5, and
Has to be a contract.
Yeah, it has to be a contract, and I'm working through the idiocy as to why we need
that's right.
need to hire somebody capable and
And
to-
Well, you're
to actually-
contracted webmasters,
Yeah,
you're not web
That's
designers.
a lot of money. Is that something we really need to take? I mean, a lot of people feel yes, but
I can't figure
5,000.
out, do we have enough?
Our website is a kludge, and our
not
webmaster is an
awful.
idiot.
Well, it's
Okay.
not awful, but if
People are still getting Johnny Walkers. They're
would-
emailing him. and
Wouldn't
stuff.
it be
It's, like,
easy?
weird.
Wouldn't it be nice
Well,
to
there's
have
an
something
old email
workable and
server, old
usable by
website that needs to
everybody?
be cleaned up.
Yeah, it's an
Pretty
antique.
cool.
I mean, if
But
it
our
was,
website's not bad. I mean, it's not great.
it's not great.
I have a proposal. I think that the website needs work, but I think that the money that's deployed in the direction of website and video build out and should be a unified theme. Like here's what we need to do to make it maximally effective so that the person can upload the YouTubes.
Keith has
So that
thoughts
Keith
on
may have a
website.
thought,
That's-
but I think hiring a consultant for smaller than $5,000, but maybe up to 3 or 4 or 5
Yeah, we
to
just
do.
wanted it
But
built.
I don't want to deal with the same Dumkovs
No,
who have been
See, that's
unable
the
to
problem.
change a card
Yeah.
for
No.
years.
That's-
I mean, it
that's-
looks like a website. We all go, oh, it's a website,
Yeah.
but it really could be more dynamic
Well,
if we get the
that's
right
what-
person.
That's why we want to hire
I
no
I know,
kidding
but
web
but
designer.
I feel like we could go beep beep. It's
No, but
2014.
the web designer codes the website.
I know what they do, but
and
this has
then
been a
we
year.
give it to the webmaster to maintain.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
And
It's
that's,
been a
you know,
year.
and that's where I'm trying to go with these people going, hey,
Which
there it
people?
is,
The city.
the city.
Okay,
We
you
have
talk
to
about
use an
done.
approved vendor.
Yeah, we're supposed to
I would
use
question
local
that.
vendor,
I
and
would.
said,
I
none
would
of
let
them are
myself on
capable.
fire
We did
happily.
question that.
None of them are capable of building what we want. We want it to be user friendly. You can find anything you want. Everybody gets their own page. Everybody can post.
What do you
to
mean
their own
everybody
page.
gets their own page?
Committees.
Budget committee gets a page. Public.
And we can
safety-
manage it on our
Yeah,
own?
you can manage your own page.
Right.
Push out what's
Yes,
happening.
Because right
what you
now, if he
want.
wants to make a change, he has to contact her to contact the webmaster,
Got it.
who may get to it
Stupid.
sometime about the
Agreed.
12th of Never.
That's stupid.
It's a terrible
You're right,
system and
you're
it's not
Yes.
functioning well.
You know,
To be
everybody
fair, smart people use Nextdoor, Facebook, and
Well,
so
that's what we're
we
using
should
now.
model that in and not go
No.
crazy for one unified thing. But if it's helpful to have a
the
nice
blast
website,
is still important.
right? The blast is the most important and
Well,
useful
that's
tool.
easy. It's Mailchimp.
But if
Well,
they,
but
if
we
they,
should
if
expand
somebody
it.
goes to look for the neighborhood council online and there's no web page, or the web page is a clutchy piece of whatever.
What good's the outreach? We have 70 new signups. They have to have something to interact with.
Exactly my point.
And that's why we should clean up our office, if I may. And I don't mean that in a critical way. I mean, I'll help do it. But I feel like we want to, because people don't feel like they want to come to a teeny little board meeting. They don't know if they're
I
invited.
just said we should put things in storage.
No, you're
Yeah.
right. Well, then that's the right area.
All
I'm
right,
supporting
guys,
you.
Let's get back to
Rob, it's not a
what we're
It's
competition.
doing.
It's $200 a month for a storage unit, 10 by 10. Do we want to? Just so you know,
200 a month, so that would be 1,200 a year.
2,400.
Yeah,
Put it in the budget.
Comments. One, we are allowed to get a big storage bin, 53 feet, 40 feet, whatever you want, basically. And I suspect that CBS will allow us to put it somewhere on the lot.
Why don't we find out if we can put a Connex someplace?
And there's a guard 24 hours a day to let us in.
What do you mean? Can you expand
A
that?
Connex.
We're allowed to have one. What
To
does that
fill a
mean?
container.
You're allowed to get a container.
Who?
It can't. Neighborhood councils can.
And who pays for that?
Comes out of your.
We buy it outright and we own it.
Yeah, you buy a Connex.
So what do you mean we're able to buy one? We
I think they want us to buy one to store emergency supplies in, which is.
No. That's one thing they don't want us to do.
Oh, okay.
You can do for anything else except store emergency supplies.
We don't even need a 53 by
Is this a
whatever.
museum
I'm just
exhibit or
saying,
it actually is
fine
real?
with
It's
inexpensive.
real?
I think people update it.
The other thing is that when it comes to the video stuff, we can always get a regular
been in charge of
surveillance setup
stocking it.
basically with a continuous loop of 3 hours basically. Turn it on and then nobody has to touch anything
have a
ever.
security system.
Yeah, essentially it's a security system. Okay, let's get back to the meat of the subject here, so we can
Let's-
get on with the, get on.
Okay.
We've already, we reallocated all of our money. We put more into MPGs. We did all of these fun things.
Oh, we need to put money in elections.
Oh, that's true.
Right, and I have a proposal for,
So that ain't happening.
you're gonna love this, sponsoring
We have to put it in or they won't accept the budget.
Per the city,
9,000?
per the city clerk, it's gonna be 19.
Well, if it doesn't get spent, we move it.
Which could be what?
Yeah, but then they
Per
won't
the
let
city
you.
clerk,
Huh?
it's gonna be 19.
19 what?
2019.
Election.
Elections.
Oh,
Another
Yeah,
term.
per the city clerk, I was there Saturday and there was only two or
That's
three of us
official?
there. It's
No.
not official.
Okay, so we have to put
But
it
he's
in.
the,
Like,
but
Right.
he's the.
we should put it in.
whatever
And the other thing that, what I was gonna say is we should sponsor, as I guess we did, a debate. But I don't know how we sponsored the debate for the mayor on a night that we had our meeting. But remember, we were co-sponsors. That was a little strange
Yeah,
because
that's kinda high.
I was like, "Where's everybody?" Oh, at the meeting.
At the meeting.
So that's fine. But there were lots of people
You
there.
mean when
But
we all spoke?
You want us?
No.
I think no. I think that a
19.
neighborhood council debate is one thing, but I think we were talking about how could we possibly spend the money. I wouldn't be unhappy if we spent $2,000 or $3,000 less with all of the schools that I still like to give to, but shave them down $600 each gift and do a sponsored debate for some candidate in one of our elections. I mean, if it's CD2, which is not up right away, or if it's the Sherman, the people like that. That engages people. If you have a
But
little
it doesn't
debate.
seem like we have a key one in the next year, though.
Yeah, no.
I'd say rather than sponsor a
a good
debate,
idea.
make
No.
a campaign donation so they vote the way we want from then on.
Uh-huh.
Let's be practical.
I don't like that.
Well, it works.
I don't think we're going to be giving money to the schools like we did this year. I think they got a good chunk of stuff this year. I don't
Yeah.
know what they would come even.
No, they always have needs,
They'll
and
vote.
I'm not
No,
saying
they
it would
always
be, it
have-
would be
they
rude
always
to
They
have-
shut
don't
them
need
off.
picnic tables again.
It would be rude to shut them
Yeah,
off,
we need more
but we
people.
should not be as generous as we
I
were.
think we need a new
Yeah.
operating
I
procedure
think
that
the
says
whole
that
board
the neighborhood
collectively
council
probably
will
won't
match
be
any
as-
funds
As
the school
generous,
has raised.
Right. That's how I
Okay.
feel.
There's
we
businesses
now
that-
By the way, we
see
had
where can spend.
$5,000 that
learn.
We're learning, right?
we were not short funds this year.
No.
So I'm just letting you know.
And
we allocated well,
our
and we
swag
spent well as a
currently
board.
is swag.
Well, and we were
What is the swag? Just
we were
FYI.
rather parsimonious when it came to buying food, but that was because we shopped well.
Well, we can debate that, but that was pretty good.
I liked that.
What was the?
Hate kebab.
I wouldn't.
Not the kebab.
We should have a agenda item about food, and then people can weigh in. But
You can't get out of a chair. There's so much.
we're packed in. Storage is a good area. I'm back on board with that one.
Yeah. But yeah.
But it feels like, is there not an office around the corner where we can stuff that shit? Do we have to actually rent a?
No, we can buy it. We can buy a Connex, or we can.
Yeah, why don't we
stuff it
find
in.
out that
But I'm
those
still
have
waiting
Connex
for
on the
like, oh,
property
well, you
here.
can put it up around the corner. Is there not some
Oh,
spot
that's
here
more. That's new stuff.
in this row?
Oh, great.
Yeah,
Does
we
Chamber
want
of
swag.
Commerce
We got
have an
lots
extra
of
room?
swag.
Oh, great news.
I don't know if I don't think
We
I have
got,
an
we
extra
got,
room.
we got.
But we might have to get
I think
in the
office
area
space
where
on
they-
this campus
where they
is at a
store the
premium.
tractors and stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
At that gate.
Oh, we got also. We
Oh,
got
glad you
everything.
did that.
Yeah. We
Since
got,
Eric
we got
asked, I thought we would
Yeah.
share some of the. You don't get one.
What are they?
I already got one of everything out of the boxes.
Oh, fantastic! You listened.
What are these?
Last time I looked, there's
Swag.
flashlights.
Flashlight. That's great.
flashlights. Green
I
flashlights.
thought it was a
But it
fan.
doesn't have a magnet at the end.
And the first aid kits come next week.
Did I lose a battery?
It just takes one battery?
No, there's two in there.
It comes with batteries.
Mine came with one, but
Mine came
maybe.
with
Oh no, here's another one. Ooh, no name toxic batteries. This is great.
Yeah.
I love these.
Hey,
Now, do we
I
have a
shop
little?
well.
Don't let your children touch this,
I
or they
shop-
die of cancer.
Yeah. I
No,
shop
they're
well.
Afraid
What
for
the hell?
National Night Out.
But-
How many do you have? I don't want to give all
But
away.
I think I bought 500.
Well, you got 500 first aid kits.
500.
I'll do 100 and 100 of those.
Well,
Whatever you want. It's your swag.
Yeah,
no, I'm
it's
not
swag, you know.
What do you do?
what was the vendor?
This is substantial.
Agenda is, yes, whatever, yes
Yes.
promotion.
Oh, okay.
Great.
They had all of our logos, they had everything. We didn't have to pay for all that crap. We just, you got our logos, this is what I want, let's do it.
Okay.
We tried to save money and get it done. Okay, here's the deal.
Nice.
Do you want to go on our budget with what we did, what we actually spent last year? Do you want to reallocate some of the money somewhere else? We need to get this done.
Lighten the school load and put it into acquisitions.
Operations is acquisition.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
No, capital improvement. that
Capital
kind of thing,
improvement,
It's
acquisitions.
still operations.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
operations.
Just lower it back. So it wasn't.
Okay.
What was the total for MPGs? 19, you said?
Sorry, Andrew Sussman wants to sue Barry now.
Yeah, that was quite hostile.
I
Oh,
just
really?
saw this.
Who's this?
Well, he was.
But that's not on
Barry
the
was
agenda.
a dick. Let's be
Yeah.
honest.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, here's action.
What'd your question again?
Okay, he wants to lighten up the MPGs
Lighten
and
up the
put
MPGs.
more
Might
money
work.
in operations so we can
Why don't we
buy
zero out
what we
NPGs?
need.
Well, okay. Just make a suggestion.
Well, okay, what was our number last year?
We approved 9,000, but only spent 6 in operations.
Well,
So
that's because,
Then maybe
So
we
to
should
approve
make it
9 again. Yeah.
but if it's 9, then there isn't enough for your, if you get permission finally to do the web design, 9 won't
come
be
from the
enough.
election money. So
I don't
Yeah.
I think web design should be low cost in 2017 because we've got all these other things going on.
why don't you help
Yeah.
find somebody? Why don't you spearhead the?
Yeah, because I mean, I found somebody, but he's
It wouldn't
not
be approved.
cheap.
Well, cheap,
And
if you
I'm
get
still-
cheap web design, you get cheap web
Yeah,
design.
we already have cheap web design.
Except it was top dollar because it was city.
Yeah, so, we've got somebody who's willing to do it, but we need a couple bucks.
Was he approved by the city?
Not yet, I'm working on it.
Can
It's
you
some,
make
we have to get it to
You
two
can make
bucks.
mine work. I can't.
Okay, well,
No.
when we present this to the board, we should have reasons behind it. It's going to be 9,000. They glaze over when we talk
May I,
about
may I
stuff,
make a
but-
proposal?
The other battery's down on the
Yeah.
floor by
Oh,
you.
sure,
Yeah,
sure.
finish,
Sit.
let him-
How do you turn them on?
The other battery is down on the floor by you, Eric, by your feet.
Okay,
If
so,
we're going to put, rather than just throwing numbers in, if we're going to keep 9,000, I think we need to say to the board, we, the budget committee, would like to be able to put 3,000 towards audiovisual, or 3,000 toward, like, we should tell them where we're thinking about and why the budget is at that number. Okay, so that's what I would like to come away with tonight, was your suggestions for that, so that we can make that part of the presentation to the board, that's all.
okay, I mean, that
So we
makes
spent
sense.
6,000. How much? No, let's back. I suggest we start with elections first because that's the number that we have to just plug in. Okay,
Fine.
and then later on we can say, okay, if this doesn't go to elections, 2 go to operations, 3 go to MPG, or something. We can all allocate later on. So last time we spent $9,000 on
Yeah, we
elections.
forget that.
You wanna put-
They did strange things with our money for the
You
year.
just-
It was really strange.
How
yeah.
much?
Even for the
How
city,
much
it
do you
was
want to plug
strange.
in?
I would, a good strategy for the budget would be to put the 9,000 in because it will shut everybody up. We don't have to spend it, and you already know they're not going to have an election. So then it's a pad, and we can do with it as we like. But we look like good students.
I would say I wouldn't go any higher than 7.
Well, how can you? Isn't that a number that they always determine and try to make as high as possible, and
Do
everyone
they
goes?
make us spend a
No,
certain
they
amount?
don't make you spend a certain.
They
amount.
recommend.
They just recommend
How much
you
was
do whatever.
spent last cycle?
9,000.
$9,000.
Yeah, no, I get that, but then you said the city took the 9,000 and we kicked in.
No. The city doesn't take it,
The
but
9,000 was spent internally
I
by.
Richard.
I don't
Yes,
What
remember.
did they
Part-
spend
part-
9,000 on?
Richard.
well, part of it was part of
Water?
it was spent and given to the city clerk
That's
for
what
doing
I'm-
their thing. But that
that's
was
what
all,
he
that was a pittance. And then they went to.
It wasn't a pittance; it was thousands of dollars, and then they bought those banners, which were useless
Yeah,
and
they buy
ridiculous.
all these
They do weird things that
banners.
don't impact the election, then
Yeah.
charge the neighborhood council. That's what they do. So and some of it's real because the day of they have to bring in the Dunn employees, and that costs money. So you can't be a
So,
total
I think,
jerk
I
about
think
it,
in
which
truth, the election should have only cost us 5.
Let's put 5 in then.
It should have only cost us.
I wonder
5.
why we have to pay for city employees out of our budget when they're already being paid
it's
by the
crazy.
city.
But it is what it is.
Yes.
And again, 5 would be low and smart, but if you put 9, it's a bigger pad. And since doesn't it then automatically become our money to do with what we want if there's no election and you are in the inside track?
You're
So
pretty
big
sure of
number
that?
for election. I mean, again, what are they going to do? Say, let's do it because Studio City wants to spend so much. They're not. You know,
They're not.
they're going to do it
Yeah,
because they.
But I wouldn't go any.
Okay, well, if you
I
think,
wouldn't go any higher
So
than
if-
7.
I have no
We
idea.
have two proposals, one for 7 and one for 9. Can we vote on the option, put it
Can
on
we
paper?
vote, I'll say, I wanna see a show of hands for 9. 2 9s.
I can't.
4 sevens.
Okay,
I really go lower, particularly when you had that thing in NPR 9 with all the cancellation, basically outrageously expensive,
Yes.
particularly on food and photographs, all that kind of
well,
stuff.
it cost a bleeding fortune.
It was a lot of money for no good at all.
Yeah.
Where was this a city thing?
Then
No,
okay,
we put it on in
Oh.
9.
hands for
Oh, that nightmare.
hands for 7. Okay, we get 2. We get
We
he
got
changed.
3.
He changed his vote. Now
I-
we have 3 7s.
I'm in favor of either number.
Jesus.
How about 8? Since that's
How
a
about 4?
How about 7,500?
7,500s I like.
I like
actually.
that number.
I do too.
Okay, 7
Three
All those in favor of
2,500s.
7,500, show of hands.
What the-
Okay, it's still too much.
It is,
understand.
but it is.
How about $75?
All right,
can spend on the
hopefully
elections
we'll get
what I
it back,
spent
and
on
that'll pay for
elections.
the next.
How can we get people to participate in the vote? Have a good debate.
We don't have to worry about that. Just.
Have an interesting.
Now,
Well, but we
if
should
you've
start
been
thinking
on
about
next
it.
No, not
door.
tonight though.
If you've been on next door, Keith is pushing stuff and.
Yeah, I don't go
there
on next door
and
because.
he's got questionnaires and everything. He's
Right.
busy.
34.5 is left.
34.5 is left for what?
We have to allocate $304,500 left.
Okay, so if we like the fair, we could do another fair for 5,500. We could
There
do.
was talk about mixing because Lisa Kane
Dogs.
Davis is going to be gone, is leaving. She and I had a cursory conversation about perhaps blending the two events.
Good idea.
I think
What
it's a good
what
idea.
2 events?
Yeah.
Make it a
Green
little
Living
cooler.
Fair.
Yep,
And
a little more
April,
hip,
May.
right?
No, I mean cooler weather-wise.
I meant like trendy
Green
and.
Living Fair with the festival. It's just more
Right.
vendors and.
But Green
bigger-
Living will
More
be a
stuff to do.
sub-headline.
I mean,
People
we
with
had
colored
almost 500
hair.
people.
Yeah.
And
Why don't we, you can do the Green Living Festival early in the year. There's talk at the Sustainability Committee level, speaking as somebody with more placards than I know what to do with. They were talking about merging and having a co-Sherman Oaks Studio City Sustainability Committee.
Mm.
all right, so let's
And
keep
this
it on-
president was
keep it
supposed to
separate.
talk to that president, and really doing it early in the year. The experience is the earlier in the year we did the Green Living Fair, the more people showed up. And what I would
Fine,
like
I'm
to
just throwing out the idea.
Turnout was
But I have a yeah.
good for Green Living. It wasn't great. It was
No, there were,
good.
you know, there's
Yeah.
still a lot of.
The problem
lot
is
more
Green
people
Living
than we
doesn't
ever had.
every you know it's glacial, so we should definitely have
And
it,
the
but
fact
we
that
might
it was
want
a
to mix it
position
in.
that people could actually see
It
and
didn't cost
find
much
instead
to
of
do.
hidden
Right.
down by the
It's
river
cheap.
with no
It was
parking.
good. Better. It was
Right.
Yeah.
You can
But
see it.
Rob,
It only
Rob.
cost $1,500.
yeah,
What I'd like to see do with the
Really? That's all
totally
it
awesome
costs?
summer kickoff,
yeah.
expand, use the whole park, and do it. It's totally awesome summer kickoff, and taste of Studio City.
Yeah, but-
We can
Yeah.
we can go any direction we want, having seen the prototype of what we did.
Yeah.
Right.
We can do whatever we want. All
You
six
stick them
months.
under the tent.
Yeah, because we could expand and use up the
You
whole
do
park
away
area.
with free
Yes, we
hamburgers
could.
and bring in a
Vendors.
taste of Studio City.
Yeah.
It'd be great.
Well, there's also
The
they,
Chamber of
at
Commerce
the
ought to
North
be on board with
Hollywood
that.
Park. They also have a bunch of really cool food trucks that show up sometimes. Do people like that,
But
or is
that's
that
not
anti? We're
I
anti
think
food
free.
we
truck.
got people because of
It was
free.
free
It was a good shtick. I like it. It was a good
Yeah.
shtick.
Yeah, people always show up for free stuff.
They couldn't believe
It
it.
was a good selling point,
Yeah,
right?
people tried to pay
All right,
for
do you
their
want to put
tickets.
do you want to put that in the outreach budget again?
Yeah.
1,500?
Yeah.
Yes.
But I don't know about merging them
No.
into
Yeah, I don't
one.
think
Right.
we're
Okay.
not
Good.
merging.
Good.
right,
Just
so
well,
why
it
don't
was
we-
brought up. That's the other reason why.
Yeah, let's talk about outreach since we know the programs, we know what they cost. We can decide if we want those numbers back in. Okay.
What was
How
it
about
last
that?
year?
So I spent $5,500 to the dollar on that
I
festival.
think we up it.
Well, I'm just letting you know
No, no,
that
No.
and the food was not. We got a discount on the food. It's not going to happen again.
Well,
Yeah.
but we could get a different vendor for
We
something
get
less,
this, we get
right?
anything. I'm just letting
Right.
you know. Do you
Yeah.
want to put 5,500 in or 5,000?
I have a comment because I think that looking at that one festival is a great idea because it was a prototype. But one thought the reason why I said, oh, let's not merge them all together was because I think that for the year we should look at the total presence and the amount of workload we want to do. We know we have Luminaria at a certain time of year. We know that's the summer kickoff. So is there another festival that we want to have? So it's 3, each of them at maybe 4,000 or something like that. And then we don't define them specifically
Right.
because you may want to, change the contour so it's not the circus tent this next year. It's something that's more.
Well, right now we've got basically one major public event every quarter: Green Living Fair, Summer Kickoff, National Night Out. Luminaria.
Well, National Night Out is not.
Maybe a little
That's not
crowded.
the same thing.
Well,
That's
no,
and that's
I
a
mean,
national.
My original plan when I was in your
Well,
chair
it doesn't have
was
to
to
be.
do a National Night Out at the corner there.
I would love to, but I put my energies. I just shifted.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make something happen, but I.
Wait, what is National Night Out? Just to be clear, because I know it's law.
It's the first Wednesday, Tuesday of
Tuesday,
August.
Okay,
every
so that's
year.
like okay, and what
all
is
over
it?
the
It's
country and
people-
throughout military bases.
support
throughout
law
the world.
enforcement, or
can-
what is
we
it?
can
No,
go
it's just to get people to come out in their neighborhoods, meet their neighbors,
Neil
learn what a
Collins,
neighborhood
we can
watch
go to
is.
those people and
Right,
make
There are
neighborhood
little
watch.
pop-up events all over the city.
Right.
You maybe
And
you stumbled
go
on one. We did one at Sherman Oaks Gallery. We were at the
That's-
Sherman Oaks
that's
Galleria
not-
last year.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
awful.
That's where we.
No, I
We
remember.
were at
I
West
remember.
Park
So that's
before
what
that.
that is.
And
I
North
just
Hollywood
don't
Park
feel
before that.
neighborhood council shines that night
Where are we
because
gonna be?
we're
Exactly.
overshadowed.
That's my
So
point.
It's not.
Where are we going to be?
We'll do something.
That's good.
I haven't decided.
It's like having a 4th of
Do something in the
July
studio city,
tent
like a Trader
at the-
Joe's or
No.
Well, don't have
Starbucks
to worry about that anymore. They're not doing
table
it.
somewhere.
Right. Now, what about the winter festival? Somebody proposed that
I
might not
think
be
I
happening.
think it may be.
That's not ours.
If,
No, I know, but we invest in that
if
every year.
they tear down the gym and they're doing all sorts of things, they won't have a winter.
Krikorian said, as you heard,
I understand.
that is
It's
not.
not gonna happen.
Well, he said that's not happening anytime soon.
I have a feeling
Until it
the winter
happens.
Festival will
Well, wait a minute. Do you have evidence to the contrary? I mean, I'm watching it like a bird dog, and I've been
All I can
all
tell
over
you
those guys. I had a
is
big
that the-
attack on the Bureau of
happy
Engineering.
couple in charge of the Residents Association.
the shiny couple.
The happy shiny couple.
Yeah.
Who were in charge of
Not
Residents
Alan and
Association.
Beth Diamond,
Yes,
obviously.
Diamond
Yes,
Incorporated.
Yeah.
Shiny diamond.
They were discussing the fact that it may not happen because they're going to start on the park.
Okay, but
That's
that
They
is
know
two
people.
Doomkoffs.
They know people.
Yeah, they know
I
people.
don't.
Okay. Well, first of all, I was alerted to some funding that was, once again sliced over in that direction, so I was concerned. But I also heard Krikorian, and I have asked to see the plan, the current state of the plan, if there is one and where it is, because we spent a lot of escalating dollars on this plan that nobody has heard the third LV knock of, which is the meeting that they're required to have, and is a terrible idea, unfortunately, because there's a lot of good things to do. It's just that they don't really want any input. They want to do what they want to do,
Yes.
which is a big problem for the residents.
city.
They're going to go
Yeah.
berserk. The
It's
neighbors are
going.
going to go
It's
berserk.
going.
And I'm going to
It's-
personally ignite dissent
Okay.
and
Let's go.
And this year, of
Let's
course,
go over.
We're back to
all of
spending our
the-
money,
let's
please.
Let's go back to all of the events that we had money for.
Can we plug in what events you want to
Yes,
appear on the
please.
budget?
Please.
okay.
All right, so let's go with the board meeting expenses are what they are for
Yeah.
outreach.
I would like to have a joint neighborhood council
We're
to be
gonna-
defined later
let's-
event.
let's
Yeah, I'm just throwing it into the mix
Well,
of the
that
five
would sort
things.
of be a
Right,
theater
one of the
thing.
right. I think so.
Let's go through each.
Good.
and
One I
every
don't have
one
to
of
do
them.
anything for.
You can schlep the generators
But
around.
I do have someone that's willing to chair that as a committee. I'll bring it up at the board meeting as an agenda item. Who will go ahead and produce the thing.
Corky
Corky? Who's Corky?
from Waiting for Guffman.
We
I,
should.
I thought it'd be Andy
We could do
Rooney.
a reality
Hey, my
series
dad's
on
got
it.
a bar.
We should make a
Let's
video
put
of
on
reality
a show.
series of
We should
it.
make a video of our theater production, and we can sell it
This
to
could be
HBO
reality.
for $1 million.
Okay.
All right. Board
An
meeting
episode,
expenses
Rob.
will
$1
be
million an episode. I'm not.
2,400. Work on that. Produce it.
I am.
Movies in the park. So
That's
The
why we
city will
need the
take the money and
cameras.
waste it.
Unless, as far as I'm concerned, unless this thing ignites and actually we have people show up, bag it, and tag
I
it,
heard
it's
not
a
many
waste.
people.
What
go.
thing?
It's a waste of money. Movies in the park.
Last year was worse.
Maybe he'll. Do a
Maybe
better
it's
job.
because they
If he-
always
Kill it.
they have
Wait,
a
wait,
Beeman
wait.
Park that's
Let
impossible
me
to get
just
to.
say this. See how the first one goes. It's the reception on Facebook has been better.
Yes.
Let's
So-
just
I still
see.
think the Beeman
Well,
Park
Moe's
is a
in a
horrible
movie.
place to have events.
No, I don't agree with that at all. But
It's
I do agree
impossible
that
to
movies
get
in the
into,
park
it's
is not.
impossible
No,
to get out to, and
it's
there's
not.
no freaking
Okay,
parking.
No,
guys,
it's
come on,
terrific.
can we
People
just
love it.
Can we do this?
Yeah,
You
but
know,
I just
That's
want
why
to
nobody
address the
shows
movies
up
in the
for
park. I
events
want to
there.
address the movies in the park. It is $1,000, and though it is,
waste of
I believe it is. No, I don't know that it's a waste of time. It is problematic in many ways, but it's a little bit of a cause celeb. So to remove it doesn't get you much money, but it causes a tumult. So if people like it, and in other words, we can
We
make
weren't
it
even gonna
better.
have one this
We
year.
can try to make it better. I mean, I'm not clamoring for it.
Keith does
It's a
it.
studio
We
game.
weren't going to have one
Right.
until I pushed some folks.
Right.
Yeah, I know you're right.
Last year, for example, it was inside the auditorium. Well, that's not going to
Well, that was
happen again.
But I would like a rapprochement with the Beeman folks if there's problems, because they're nice people. Whether it's a nice people or not, it's a nice park. And we should not shun it because
So let's put
Richard
so
finds the
many
parking
people
bad.
there.
If you find the parking bad,
guys,
Put the $1,000 in
I'll
for
just put
the
the
Yeah.
$1,000 in the budget. We don't have to spend it, but
Yeah.
do you want
Right.
to apportion the money for right now?
for the temporarily, why not? Because it's a
That's all
no-brainer.
that's
Yeah.
all I want to know.
That's we really.
Okay.
Some of us haven't eaten. Some of us have cats that haven't eaten.
All right, let's get out of
Okay,
here.
swag. So
0.
Unless,
No.
no.
You-
We just bought $3,500.
We
How
have
long
to
will it
replace
last?
swag.
yeah.
Didn't we just get a haul of
$500.
Just a minute. This is a
to
good part of
safety.
outreach. The swag is part of
the bribe?
So good.
Yes.
Yeah.
It gets attention.
because people talking when I'm out
They
there
come
handing
over
out
for
grocery
swag.
bags. It's great. It's you're on the front lines. You
Okay,
did that.
how much did we have? We went wild with swag.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't.
Money.
Yeah, we had money and we spent it on swag.
So why don't we not put something in line item right now? And if the election doesn't happen,
Let's get like
we
Fox
want
merchandise.
something-
Could donate a
I
bunch of
even-
crap. Sorry.
Just-
I'm listening.
I listen to you.
Okay.
Why don't we not put a line item in because that
Okay,
was a
no
big
swag.
number. And at the end of the year, we find we have some extra money.
Fair.
We want to spend it on grocery shopping
Okay.
bags. We'll
Didn't
do
you say they were going to give us a hard time about moving money around? Put some money into swag now. Doesn't have to be millions of dollars. Put a
Put
couple bucks in
1,000
there.
in swag.
They're not going to give us a hard time about moving money around. They
You
don't know
know,
what we're doing.
Eric, they
What
can do
are-
anything they want
that's
to
right,
with their
but
money.
it's
So
not worth it
assume
for
the
them.
worst.
I'm just trying to present it because
Yeah.
a realistic budget. That's
Yeah.
all I like that. It
It's
makes
okay.
Okay.
That's what
Swag or no swag.
But
Yeah.
put, there's lots of ways to
500%.
self-promote.
No,
Put fi- put
2,000,
500.
1,500, somewhere in there.
whatever we buy costs at least $700.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so put
$1,000
1,500 in there. That way you can buy at least two
Oish.
things.
We just need to replace.
I
what
agree.
need
If
to
we have
replace.
this, because we may want to give away things at the next festival.
True.
Yeah, 1,500
And
bucks
if
is
we run
nothing.
out, then we're
We
at
don't
swag.
have to spend it. We'll just put it in.
Yeah. There you go.
Luminaria. Now you went over budget last year, buddy.
Yeah, but that's because it was an outperformed, the all expectations great event.
We're
That's
changing it
why.
up this year. It's gonna
Yeah,
be a new
we-
location. We've talked.
So won't we have the same?
Most of the
Alex?
budget's that freaking goes
Yes.
in that douchebag.
I'm ready for that fight.
Duke.
Yeah, but they give you a
But
steady
you're
flow
the
of people.
negotiator.
No, we pulled that steady flow of people in from the subway.
All right.
Oh.
We were at the
We-
gate
we-
going,
Okay,
hey.
guys,
Talk about a
we
non-Studio
don't have
City
to.
event.
We have a large quantity of lights. We have 1,000 drop cords.
We have a great park right in Studio City.
But we
Well,
need young explorer groups or
Boy
had-
Scouts?
Young
we
people.
had-
or
we had
young
some-
people to do the bending and the fire. I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I don't want to do it this
Right.
year.
I don't want to do it either. I'm not
So we
going
have
to do
we
it.
have to go to.
I'm
the
signing
schools
you up.
early.
Yeah, I'm
Are
signing
we
you up.
allowed to
It's
use
It's true.
I just said I'm not going to do it.
I'm not doing
You're both
craziness
doing it.
of
You're
Harvard
gonna do
Westlake?
I'm
You can
guilting
use
people
any
into
school
doing
you
it.
want.
Here's what.
Not if Harvard
Write an
Westlake is
article.
up for
I'm
the
gonna make a speech.
That's the
Public
problem.
Here's
Make
what
a
we
big
need to
public
do. Here's my
comment.
suggestion.
Cannibal Hall.
Here's my suggestion because I did it with the festival. I gave out volunteer hours and I signed.
Yeah.
I signed those kids' cards for the schools. That's how they got involved.
Well, what was
So we should actively, meaning you, because it's your event, actively reach out to the
PTA.
PTAs,
PTA.
to the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Explorer groups, whatever, and we should let people know on our website we give volunteer hours for the community, blah blah blah, whatever,
the
however you want to
PD
phrase it. The writer can
explorers.
write it, however you want to phrase it,
The cadets.
so that we
Yes.
get volunteers and they can get their community service hours.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the modern way to do it.
That's-
It's like,
yeah.
okay, that's
the,
fine.
That's the only
That's
Could we
way.
lock in the park here?
What?
Could we lock in Moore Park Park?
I don't think that's going to be very good to do. But
Why not? And we could have a nice night, make it more of a
Oh,
winter fest.
you're trying to push him off of the original location.
Yes.
I see. Are you?
I will not be
you like
voting
the original
for-
location?
I
in a
would
way?
rather be there. 650 parking spaces. Hard to beat that.
It is hard to beat
Bathrooms
that.
that are hard,
subway right
firm
there.
We got
bathrooms.
But
real
not one
bathrooms.
person
A-
from Studio City
A
went to it.
kitchen. You know, it has certain
not true.
advantages.
Does it really matter?
you got to hear
who
what
goes
Craig
to
says.
it?
He's not wrong. People coming off the subway were not from Studio City.
Well, that's some of
No,
them were.
but well,
I'm validating
Okay.
what he's
So
saying is a
what-
real comment.
What was his budget?
His budget was 3. He spent 35.82.
Well, he doesn't.
But it was
he's
approved.
not going to need a lot of. We still have stuff for it. Just
So
give
bring
him
down the
3.
35.
It's a tough thing to say because it's a nice,
Just
beautiful
bring out
event. I'm not disagreeing
no,
with
of
that.
course, of course.
Right.
I observed it. I watched. It
did
was a
work.
lot of work and it wasn't great.
Part of the
there.
part of the ambiance of going to this Luminaria is.
But no one went. They went to Moore Park Park. We gave them a cotton candy. They had a good time. They were having fun. They
Well, I had a
walked
free
there.
hamburger. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but think about it. A nice night that's not the Winter Festival night. I'm going to be saying this again in the meeting. That's nice night. We'll have some snacks. We'll have some hot chocolate. We'll have some vendors. We'll have the lights. People will walk over. It'll just be. There's not going to be a parade. Everyone likes that parade. This could be that replacement for the parade.
Let me make a pitch, because though I understand your
Well,
point,
they
and
got
putting it in
those
Studio
that
City is not the end of the
got
world,
shut
and
down
I don't
years
think you'll be
ago.
upset in the end. Although it would be nice
They
to
were
have it
going
there,
physically
but it is a lot of
off
money.
the bus.
But what if there's a way to make it even more of an incentive to have it there, to bring people from Studio City to that cool cultural historical landmark?
How? I
Do you
mean,
find that? Does the
Some of
history
us.
interest you?
history interests me more than anyone.
No, but that museum stuff, because I thought that, that was downplayed, but I thought that the little space was nicely, and maybe Universal could pay for it this year.
Maybe we could probably possibly go.
I wouldn't mind
Yeah.
guilting those terrific partners, treasured partners, into
Are we
kicking in for
recording
this
right
guy.
now?
Yeah, that's
Doesn't
why.
matter.
That's
Oh,
why I got to
we're
clean up my
recording?
act. Yeah.
Just on a side note, though this is important. The bid association, they're doing
Business
the-
Improvement
the
District.
they're doing that festival in August.
Oh, good point.
And I was talking to John Walker about something else, and he
Yeah.
refuses to give us a table.
We have a table.
A table for what?
We have a table.
Why would he refuse?
He's not going to refuse. We have a table. We have to.
I
bring
know
our
where he
own-
lives.
We have to. We bring our own pop-up.
That's
tent.
good.
That's good to have on the
Not to
recording.
Not
Yeah.
yours. We're down by the hobby shop.
Well, what is the event so that we
Is this the
can?
cheapest candy you can possibly buy?
What is the table?
No, there's more candy in there.
What's the idea of a table? Just to
Have
be
a
present?
presence there.
Well, first of all,
Put something to
everybody
put
should
our-
be present
put
at
underneath
everybody's
our
festivals. We're
pop-up.
friends.
Soft.
What kind of a?
But I asked him,
And
could
he
we have a
said-
table there? I can do cotton candy. And he said, no, we're all set.
Oh.
That's awkward.
Well, now I don't want to. I'm not. Nobody's more or less of a
I've
snob
been
than me.
talking to
But it
John.
may be that he doesn't want cotton candy
No,
at his
no, no,
event
no, no.
because he's a little.
We're good.
he wants crudité
I've been talking
and-
to John.
Yeah.
We'll have a table. We'll bring our
Okay.
pop-up.
Well, what are you
and our
It could be the
cotton
health
candy
police.
machine.
They're
We'll have a
out
good
there.
time.
All right, John.
But we,
Tell me wrong information, John.
The thing is, we have to be there the entire
You've gotten very
time.
personal with this cotton candy.
Yeah, we have to be there. And we have to show up at 4:30, get everything ready to go for 5 o'clock. We have to be there until it's tear down. So we have to have people who actually are there between 4:30 and
Good
9.
outreach. We have some nice
Schiller's got the
gifts.
internship for labor program coming.
There you go.
So we're going to be
Alright,
fine
sorry.
next
Trail-
year.
Studios
Trail
do it.
Labor
You
Law.
could
Back
put it
to
at the-
your luminary.
Okay.
Let's put it at the
Sorry.
top of Runyon.
3,000.
The kids will bring the stuff up.
Oh, jeez.
All the volunteers
Hee-haw, hee-haw.
up at top of Fryman.
$3,000 luminary out. You don't spend more than $3,000.
Well, we can do a lot better if we're not doing it at the.
Well, okay.
the-
But part
the
of it
mobile home.
basically
Leave
is
it free.
your particular bailiwick of beating the hell out of Duke.
That's not my job.
See, if you
But you
people
were
would quit
part of
going
that
through grabbing
job.
nothing but the good candy.
I started negotiating and then you
All right.
kept subverting me.
I am different.
All right. Okay, next.
Winter Festival. You want to allocate the 1,000 in case they have it?
Yeah.
And
Why
then they
don't
don't, we move it.
Can we get like some kind of a
Question.
diplomat to ease the tension between the SCRA and the Studio City Neighborhood
What's
Council?
wrong with this area?
Are they all? Are we partners? Are we delightful?
Sometimes.
problem.
I feel like there's an isolation.
Well, I think that
Like I didn't hear about their big bridge event at all. There was no mailer. I was like, huh?
We should have been invited
Weird.
to that.
I mean, I didn't understand that.
They only come to us when they want money or
Yeah, but
permission.
there's obviously a
Yeah.
slight hostility. Can we do anything to chill it or to ease it?
You're talking about the river opening?
I'm just saying in general,
Can you
the
turn off
two
your-
organizations are very
How are we not
different.
invited to the river
Yeah.
Turn off your recording for a second. I'll tell you how to
No, I
use
don't
it.
turn off the recording, but I'm happy to edit
And he doesn't go have drinks.
nothing. Yeah, I don't do anything informal.
Well, you can
Very
come
formal.
join us at the counter after.
No, but I mean, honestly, it's a general, it's a question. It's not a budgetary item, so it doesn't really matter. But it's a good area for, because we could team up on certain things. They're useful, I suppose. They
Well,
come with a big
for-
crowd
to
of nice
team up
people
with
who live in
another-
houses.
To team up with another organization, the other organization has to want to actually work with partners.
Fair enough.
Are we putting
How's that
1,000
for
in for the
diplomatic?
festival in case they have it?
Yes.
Are we going to support it?
Yep.
We've always supported
Green Living Fair.
$1,500.
Yeah, but who's going to do it?
I have an
If you
idea.
don't do it, you'll get the money back.
What about a green living component to both of our other festivals? In other words, we because it's such a
Well, we should have been recycling at the fair. We
Yeah.
didn't do that.
Yeah, but it's okay.
and making that a theme is a great idea.
Some of that shit already
The
in
fair
it.
is not
Slide around.
Oh no, I
The
do have a
Green
great
Living
idea.
Fair will be easier to do this time around because there will be less of the phonetically correct people involved, and we can do things like
Fire up
have
the Jennies.
like the local bird store over in Sherman Oaks show up because oh my God, he's a company and he makes money, and other things like that.
Well,
Get some
The
napalm or
archaeologically
napalm
pure.
DDT into the mix. Why not?
Mark wants to know we're going to allocate the money for it.
Let's allocate the money.
I have
It'll
a-
get done.
I have one proposal though, because this is an interesting one. The Totally Awesome event was great. And what if we endeavored to have a totally awesome event green this year? So it folds
brand
in.
it, we start branding it.
Well, and so every year it's got a
Totally awesome
theme.
area.
Yeah. Well, no. Well, we don't have to do that, but totally. But that's
It
possible.
should be inherently green.
You know.
Yeah,
It should just be a side note that
No,
we
you're
are
right.
green.
But that could be like the kick, like the totally awesome kick. I don't know.
I
I
want
just
to be a green event.
Keep
Okay.
it simple.
Families
We have the
and
green
kids and strollers.
Have the green.
Perfectly.
Have
Yeah,
the
but
green
families-
event
some
spring,
families
early
should-
spring,
Or-
February,
Yeah.
March.
We're trying to have an event every quarter and
Right.
involve our stakeholders.
Good.
Now you're trying to take away one of
no.
our events.
But it's just I don't know how many people got involved in the green living.
Yeah, I'm
If
worried
you've
that
been
we
once,
won't
you don't
be
go
able to
back
get-
unless you had a great time. And I don't know. Do you have a great time? It's good, but it's not great.
It was
Those will be
good.
good next Christmas.
It's well done. It's just not.
No.
Yeah, but
interesting.
without Lisa, it's a big.
And
Yeah,
all
she
they
does all the
know,
work.
Actually,
There's no 4th of July.
There's a
thing.
bunch of other people involved.
there were other people
Okay.
involved, and I think we can get.
So should I put the line item in? For
Put the
green
line
light?
item in.
Okay. Don't bother with 4th of
I don't know
July
about that, because I feel like-
obviously you know that they've totally canceled. They're having their own event here at $150 a ticket, and we're not
What are you
invited.
talking
Who?
The Chamber
CBS.
of Commerce.
They're having a $150 ticket. I'll take two.
Yeah, for the
Go see them.
for the
Yeah.
event here.
Down there.
You're very
For the
pithy
what?
when you're
They're right
recording.
across the hall.
Go down there and talk to them. They're across the hall.
What?
Okay.
You know, this isn't really the forum to do this, but we don't have to have the same events every year. We can do
Exactly.
something different.
And I think if you put down
but
Green
schedule
Living
for the
Fair,
events we already have. Run with what we know, and you can always change it after the fact.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've spent an hour on something that should have been a lot simpler.
right? But here's a proposal. I would put Green Living Fair or another kind of fair that somebody wants to define, because here,
Similar spring event.
or take it out and let people speak up,
Say spring
because.
event.
Spring
Okay,
event.
let's
We'll
just
call
Yeah,
it
that's
spring event.
great.
Bring
That's
it
great. That is really great. Because otherwise people get into E-Day fix. They focus on what we did last year.
Okay, I
They
don't
will-
know what that means.
A fixed idea. Oh,
It was a joke. Spring event.
Okay.
you're like my father.
Spring
You
event,
gotta
summer
either
event,
be, either be
fall
funny
event,
or
winter
explain
event.
your joke. Just
Um,
choices.
All right, the small business fair was a great event, but if Lisa's not going to be here,
Yeah.
oh shit, I'm supposed to have dinner at 8 o'clock with this guy.
All right, we're out of here.
Done.
That's 10 minutes. We're done. Let's move.
Really should have been done.
I would put
Is someone going to have the event?
let other people in the
Just
board.
budget the damn
Schwallenberg.
money and let's go.
Yeah, put
Is someone
put
going to run it?
other event.
Just put it on the budget.
We
Don't
can call
bully
it
me.
in.
Yeah, we've already said 4 or 5 times. Put spring event if you don't not about a green fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, spring event,
Just-
fall event. Do it like that. Leave them generic.
Banquet mixer. I'll keep it in there because we have to pay the money.
Yeah, it's a political
Vig.
thing.
It's a political thing, yeah.
Summer festival.
Yeah.
At least
Oh, we
here.
should get rid of that. It was a waste of time.
Summer, where was this?
The summer festival.
Summer festival.
Totally awesome.
Oh,
It's a big hit.
All right, that takes care. That's outreach for the moment.
Okay.
Now let's. Oh, I have to do the math.
Don't forget about the writing contest.
That was an MPG.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
That's different.
Fine. Different category.
Yeah. All right. Now we're at neighborhood purpose grants. Well, first of all, community improvement. We allocated 4,000. We only spent 2,000. That was for Studio City Beautification
That's
Association.
more than adequate.
So I would just put another 2,000 in there. Doesn't mean they're going to get it, but let's allocate something for CIPs.
Right. Do we want to give them a false sense of hope and put a little more in there and then
No,
pull
because
it away?
No,
No, then they'll just keep coming
They
they,
back.
sound-
they still come around asking for money even if you put it in
they
zero.
stopped though when we voted against the art. See that? We didn't hear from the
That's
rest of the
true.
year.
So they,
I mean,
only
I-
come,
you
they
know-
only come here for 2 things.
All right.
When
but-
they need money because they can't afford everything they've already approved.
But let me just say
And then
that-
they want approval for stuff that next thing you know they're going to want money to
Right,
keep.
but
it
it
up.
is an important component to what we do. It's I agree that why are we underwriting the road maintenance and street tending, but
I
you know,
wonder- I
it
wonder
does
what-
make sense if there's a need that affects the community and everybody, not just one
Where
neighbor.
are we underwriting Diamond Incorporated?
Yeah, well, let's see
All right,
this
so
is-
now we're at, so I'm putting 2,000 in for community improvement, just to
Okay,
have that.
that's fine.
Now we're at neighborhood purpose grants. So
Stet,
I
same
would
as last
not
year.
put the same, I will never list the same people. I will just put the chunk of money.
Yes.
So we allocated 12 last year. We spent 14.
Allocate
So we
10.
better go back down to 12 because now we have to have election money.
Right.
So I
Or
would
10.
Or 10.
Or 10.
10.
You have to come down.
Is this the one where it lists the schools, but you're not going to list the
Yeah,
schools?
don't list
Also,
anybody,
I think
just
I
say
mentioned during the
PGs.
process that I saw another neighborhood council does it a different way, which is, and you mentioned this, Rob, in the beginning when you showed up with your democracy hat on. You said, "Why are we even choosing? Just divide the money up between the people interested, and let's move forward." And that's sort of what they do, and it's worth considering that if we have credible people who have needs, and they want to say what their needs are, we can get back to them by deciding how much money we have and giving them an equal portion and move on. And then we don't care about, you can finish the rest of it through. So that's just another way to go,
But they
as
have-
opposed
they
to.
have They have to have a reason. I don't know if
Yeah,
it's
no,
another
of course.
reason.
No, we're not going to fund something we don't. No, no, they do.
Yeah, but let's-
I'm just saying we
Come on,
decide on the
let's
funding,
put a
not by
number there and
like
let's go, people.
sing and we'll tell me how much I like your. I don't like the American
10.
Idol component.
We have to take money out of somewhere. Let's go 10.
I'm
We
going to
can
put it down
always-
to 10 right now so that we can
We can-
figure, because the election money, otherwise we'll.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay, so that's, Jen carry the 2 with the advance with me from here.
I get toes.
Minus. Okay.
Close. Kobe close.
Also, these taste event could be a low cost event for us because we could do just
Yeah,
some
that's
flyers.
Why if we did the festival
And they
had
can-
an added taste of Studio City and got it all.
I love that idea.
That
Yeah,
is
and
perfect idea.
use the whole park, not just half
I've
of it.
floated that past John a couple of times. He
John
said,
who?
well, we were going to have one. I'm like, well, now you're not. So let's do it.
John Walker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Problem is,
He's
John
the
John
bid.
likes
He's
to
the
take
bid.
counsel of his fears.
He's the bid.
no, I know who he is, but if and sure, but having a taste event is hard if you don't. Like the LA Times has all these things. There's a high bar.
The LA Times.
Unless you-
We're not the LA Times.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So you can't just instantly have a great taste event. You get into managing
Yeah.
all these professional companies. They're like,
You're right.
you guys are rinky dink. It's not easy, and there's licensing and so it always sounds great. But what's great is to have an event and have some good food and have some nice.
The geniuses of the SCRA seem to manage to do a fairly decent simulation of a taste of Studio City at their winter festival.
Let me. I know we're in a rush, and this is a brief one, and it's not happening, so I can say it quickly. But something about Studio City that was spectacular and went away was the Christmas parade down the boulevard.
That's what I said earlier.
Well,
And
yeah.
that was a permitting thing.
Yeah,
and
but we can be the leaders because we've got a good community. We got Sean. All we need is one
we
night,
wanted to do it a few years
and
ago,
everybody will follow.
And
John will try to get the lights.
It was ugly. They
I know.
want. They
Takes
want,
work.
No.
Yep,
It
takes.
takes a lot of
We
money
need to
for
send
the
in the
insurance.
diplomat.
Yep.
You have to pay for the street.
There's a
to
million
shut
reasons not to
down.
do it, but there's one reason to do it. It's the
given
signature
idea
event.
The stores didn't like it.
Everybody was.
It's not about
liked
the
it, but
stores.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Salt and
Everybody-
straw.
But that's why saying Luminaria, making more of a winter event and move it to Studio City, becomes the
Right.
new
It's in
go-to.
Studio City.
No, but I'm telling you, our
It's in
boulevard.
Studio City like our house is in Studio City. Everybody thinks it's Toluca Lake, and everybody thinks we live in Sherman Oaks.
We done?
All right, the money's been allocated as we discussed, and I will present
I
it
call
to
the
board.
question.
Okay.
And then you can have further discussion at the board meeting
All
about
right.
All in favor?
Of what?
Of what we
all the
allocated
work
all
we
the
just
money.
did.
Sounds good.
Okay. Unanimous. Moose.
Move to adjourn. Closing comments?
Okay, closing comments. Thank you all. Too bad it took so long. I will be putting this. I had to essentially. You have to either submit it
What
or
is it?
finagle printing it. But this is the budget package, where you have to have the
Oh, wait.
part of the budget package. This is the whatever they call it. It's a strategic plan.
I move we adjourn.
I took it from last year, and
They never read it.
no, they don't read it.
I don't think they can read. You heard
Anyway,
Bimbo the Dum Dum said about the motion last month.
Anyway, I will bring more of these to the meeting, so if somebody, actually I'll just send it out to everybody, I'll scan it and send it out to everybody, and we can discuss it at the board meeting.
We adjourn?
We're adjourned.
Yeah.